All right, jumping into another video. Some of you guys might remember this warehouse from the Ranchero update video, and things got heated in Philly, I think was what it was called. But we're down here, and there is an Aerostar that has been sitting for roughly 20 years, just under. Here's the Ranchero, by the way. So now she's got a home inside. He does want to restore this and do work to it, but you know, hasn't gotten around to it. And check it out. A classic Aerostar. Yes, I think I called it an Astro van because I had a brain fart in the previous video, but he came today, cleared out some of the stuff. Still a little bit more that needs to come out, and we're gonna see you know, if this thing will run and drive. There is no title for it. It was in his father's name. It looks like maybe water was in here at some point. It was in his father's name, and when he passed away, they parked it here back in, he said 2004 or thereabout, and that would be 19 years ago. It's got the auto alarm, and they haven't touched it since. So hopefully these tires, you know, are just flat from sitting. I think they'll all pump up fine. They said it did run good. Don't have keys for it, but they gave me a pile. They said there might be one in there. If not, I don't think it's going to be too hard to the jumper. You see the 2004 inspection on there. Wow, all four tires are flat on this. I got some 15s. Just kind of giving you guys the walk around. Man, this beam, rotted beam, is just pushed right up against it. And originally I was gonna just kind of junk this car since we don't have a title, but I don't know, she's looking pretty decent. Now, I'm sure for a lot of you guys, I know for me, this reminds me of like my childhood. You see these things cruising around all over the place. Here's some commotion out here. Let's get the door open, get some light going. This guy's out here walking around my truck, talking to himself. That's a little bit better. Shine some light on her. So I'm gonna give them a hand pulling the rest of this out of here. And then once we get it all cleared out, look how much space. So much room for activities. Like 8 to 10 feet. And most of what was in there is just junk and trash from what I can see. Got this old nice compact keyboard. Oh, I thought the interior light was on for a second. It's just coming through over there. And I got this pile of keys. I see some Ford keys. Maybe we'll get lucky. Got the typical interior mold all over everything. No, not lucky. None of those fit. Anyway, let's see if these tires will take some air. Very nice. 20 psi all to cover it. You can see, definitely looks like water got in here at some point and like carried a bunch of dirt under the tires. All the rest of those are filling up. Let's pop this hood. And we are looking all complete, untouched. These had the, I think the 3.0, right? Now the 2.9. Missing the battery. Nothing in there. Yeah, 3.0. Great engine, actually. I remember working on some of these at the shop, and you know, these things, they keep going. We got no oil on the stick. I don't think I have many fluids in my Ram either, so I usually drive my Tundra. It's got everything I need. Power steering, empty. Trans fluid, not running, but should be overfilled, which it is. And the radiator, yeah, like a few inches down. Brake fluid, yes, I know, don't take them off dirty unless you're careful. Brake fluid's up to level, which is awesome. I do see some crusty lines up top of here. Like as far as rust goes, in this warehouse, I mean, there's no dehumidifier in here. Now, a lot of the wood has been replaced, but this roof was leaking for like a really long time. And yeah, so it's real humid in here. That's why there's mold in the car and such. There's also this van that he doesn't want to sell it, but he wants to maybe get it back on the road. So the diesel, showed it in the previous video. We might be doing something on that in the future. Let's shut off at 20 psi. It's nice you can program it. Nobody's chewed through. No mouse nest underneath. And without a key, I gotta wonder if we're gonna be able to just run 12 volts over to the ignition and jump this. Starter solenoid's right here. But I feel like my time might be better spent just getting this up on the trailer. Well, look at the wire sheathing on that, it's just falling apart. Same on the positive cable. I wonder if the other one going down, actually that looks like it's been replaced. Yeah, it's fine if it happens on the ground, but you have that the wire fall apart on a positive, I'll start a fire. To speed up filling the tires, I was going to use the all top, but I tried hooking it up to this good all start all and it didn't like it. It just started buzzing. But look at this, I hooked a JF Eglo, get 12 volts, and then hook that up. Boom. That's pumping real good right there, because this is just about dead. I was able to fill 3 of the tires. You see, if I hook this up without the 12 volt source, let's see what it does if I let it just go longer. See if it kicks in now, or burns the motor up, one or the other. No, it never does kick in. It has to see the 12 volts, which I would say is one downside of the good all. We got lucky on the tires, but no luck with the key. Just spent 5 minutes looking inside there, maybe for a hidden one. Can't find it. Next question is, can we get it out of park? Noticed when I was looking for the key too, look at these, deflate, inflate. I guess the seats have a little airbag or lumbar support. Oh, steering doesn't appear to be locked, but I'm sure it will lock after I move it. And this, oh yes. She's stuck, huh? All right, oh. All right, great. Yeah, that was nice. Oh, little, got a misfire, huh? Yeah. I hear that, yeah. Alright, hold on. Let me turn the wheel. Alright. I'm sure some of you guys are thinking, why didn't you just bring the wrecker? Ooh, that mirror is going to get too close to there. But the answer is because I didn't know the condition of the front tires. And so clearly that they wouldn't have made the trip home. Wouldn't have been good. Definitely got to pull it forward more though, because this Genie should actually be swapped the other way. The trailer's sitting a little high. I mean, it's also in a pothole right now. With it pulled forward, that's balanced much nicer. Want to make sure you get some tongue weight on there. Still higher in the front than it should be, but chains on the back, straps on the front. And now gonna leave it here. Javier's nice enough to let me leave it in his yard, secured. Go for a little skate ride through the city. So I'll drop a timestamp right here if you want to skip this little segment and jump right to the Aerostar action. Ah, yes. Just a beautiful October evening. Do a little cruise. I think we'll try and get to Center City. You can kind of see the buildings off in the distance. then maybe down to the Ben Franklin and loop on back. Get some dinner somewhere too. Got an old car quest that's still in business, Girard Auto Parts, and actually it is open right now. But yeah, that's reminds me of the Napa in my town. The Drunk Crab. Jimmy King, Chicken and Beer. Not sure how to pronounce that. Just about downtown. It is Easy Park. How the heck is a parking lot that doesn't have any elevation to it still a good usable way to make money out of that space? I don't know. It's crazy. And we've made it. Funny how all the buildings look so different from far away. So we came on this ride just to grab a cheesesteak over here. Hopefully the place is still open. Jim's Steaks. Unfortunately, it's not open right now. Bummer. Second place, Joe Steaks. $15 for a 10-inch steak, but got it with the cheese whiz too. I know some people hate that. Looks delicious though. Boy, I was sitting out front eating the cheesesteak. I had to just wrap it up real quick because I saw the RoboCop police cruiser go by. Must be for Halloween. Guy had it out. Super, super cool. Didn't catch him though. Gosh darn it. Woo, that's steeper than it looks. It's like riding the Bristol Speedway. Back home, and this beauty's ready for a bath. But first, some quick facts about the Aerostar. Now, the original minivan concept, or garageable van, started back in 1972 when Ford was redesigning its Econoline. They came up with a prototype called the Carousel. However, that never went to production. So fast forward to 1984, and Chrysler released their Dodge Caravan and Plymouth Voyager. Sales went through the roof, Ford noticed, and they went back to the drawing board. Come 1986, and they released the Aerostar with its aerodynamic front end.
Ever since man invented machines to move people, he has sought new ways to defeat the wind's resistance. And now there's a totally new aerodynamic design for this age. Ford brings you the age of Aerostar.
These were a little tougher than the Chrysler minivan because instead of a little four-cylinder puny front-wheel drive, we got the V6 with rear-wheel drive, more of a truck minivan. They never did surpass Chrysler as far as sales go, but still a success for Ford. And in 1995, they replaced it with the Windstar. However, you could still buy this all the way up to 1997, which tells you, they knew they had a good product on their hands. And that's what this is, a 1997. Now this is the extended version, so like the standard one that came out in 86, I think they only came to about here. Same wheelbase, they just pulled the back out. I think the extended version became the popular choice. See, we got a good amount of body damage over here and such. And, just barely clear the fender. And you could get an optional 5-speed manual transmission. I've heard they're pretty rare, but it was similar to that of the what was in the Ranger or the Mazda B3000. And I've never seen one, but you could actually get these with the 4.0 Cologne V6 in an all-wheel drive configuration. Imagine that. Let's get her cleaned off now. That's looking a little bit better. Still a sad face, but a little happier. You see, I blew off some of the paint where it was bubbling, and still some metal under there. Didn't go right through. Before I do anything with the interior, I always like to, if they smell really moldy and nasty like this, I don't want to bring this into the house, even though I kind of already got it the other day slightly, but it smells just like a moldy old warehouse. So I'm going to put the ozone generator in here. run that to try to kill off some. Put a fan in the back too. And it's a really good idea to pipe in fresh oxygen or fresh air to this if you want to get maximum effect. But I've had good luck just running them straight up. Kill that off before we vacuum it. It'll just crank that up to 180 minutes. Let it go to town. Put a fan in there too. But I've got just the fan over here in my vintage tool pile that I plan to go through. So this will either help circulate the air or burn the van down. One of the two. It's the Zero model 1250R, McGraw Electric Company, Boonville, Missouri. Oh. Should have pointed right toward me. Doesn't even have a switch. Yeah, perfect. Don't build them like that no more. Although this guard is not exactly child-proof. Stick your finger right through there. Time to get this turd wagon off. So I was thinking, let's get the winch mounted on the floor. Marked the center and the lift. Went over to Harbor Freight, grabbed one of these step bumper receivers for 18 bucks or whatever. It's 18 something. And instead of putting it on the ground permanently, like using this concrete anchor or a sleeve wedge style, I got these little red heads. You drill 5/8 and take a 1/2 inch bolt. That's what these holes are, 1/2 inch anyway. So I think that's gonna work excellent. I was gonna make a custom plate, but for what these cost, it's like, come on, why even waste the time? Well, I guess we'll wash her into the wall a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Got the bit taped at the appropriate depth. And with those holes at the proper depth, cleaned out, we can use this little tool that it comes with. It hammers out on the bottom. Never used these before, but they seem pretty nice. Oh yeah. Ooh, that's gonna be nice. Oh yeah. I guess the really important thing here is getting the proper depth. Because if you have these sticking out, it's just, well, you could always cut them, but. You bring this down until it's flush with the insert. One more hit. That's it. All right. And I know these are only 1/2 inch, but remember, this is only really being pulled horizontally, not vertically. You know, if these ever rip out, we can always upgrade it to something better. These are only like $1.50 a piece at Home Depot. Reasonable. Done deal. And look at that, the holes even line up. Maximum fastener depth. It's gonna be yay. Hopefully I got some grade 8 1/2 inch. It does the job. I didn't have enough grade 8, so these will hold fine, I think. If they break in the future, then I'll replace them with grade 8. Now, not that it's a corrosive environment, but I don't want these ever getting seized in, so I'm just putting a little bit of copper anti-seize on them. And that way, if I need to swap this around on the floor, don't worry about the threads getting gold or messed up or seized. Okay, the holes aren't dead perfect, but we'll make it work. Good and tight with these. Oh yeah, that ain't going nowhere. Yeah, I can grab my 5K winch. It's already mounted on a hitch. And drop her into place. Booyah. You know what I'll have to do is put some more winch line on here too. That way I can double it with a snatch block if I need to, because right now it's only long enough to get out there. Oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I'll have to seal up those tires. See, it did end up leaving the spare tire on the trailer, which, wow, yeah, that's really rotted. Can't wait to see underneath of this. It's funny because I looked under a little bit and it didn't seem incredibly rusted out, but as you can see, the spare is done for. We'll start by a little shakedown and inspection. Brake lines look great up front. Front control arm, upper control arm bushings have been replaced, but kind of shot. Ooh, we got some tie rod in, or maybe that's ball joint, or it's just a wheel bearing. A lot of play in that, and Timken bearings, a taper roller. And these brakes aren't locked up on this side. You can see it wasn't spinning though because the tire is flat and was hitting the knuckle there. Passenger rear, a little rusty, but rotates fine. Same over on the driver, a little tighter. And the driver front, pretty darn tight, actually. No, not a ton of play, just a little bit of wheel bearing. Looking very rust-free up here. Look at that frame rail. I mean, it's perfect. It's got the little crunch waves in it for impact. Crunches up like a can. And the original upper ball joints that are riveted in, greasable. Brake line's nice. Ace hoses should be replaced. I don't know if you can see it, but the sheathing has got a bubble in it. So definitely need some new ones of those. Plenty of meat on the pads, although I can see cracking and separation on them. They are riveted. And starting at the rear, just walking down through, we got these plastic, I guess, storage little bins on each side. And again, that spare fell off, but I mean, the rest is not rusty at all. It's a few spots where it got a little crusty, but I mean, the brake lines are still holding on, original lines. And this looks like, I don't think it's the Ford 8.8, more rectangular, so it's probably the 7.5 differential, but you know, very heavy duty. And look at the support arm on the top. Wait, is that aluminum drive shaft? This almost looks like a lower control arm. I mean, cast iron, maybe it's forged. I guess it looks like cast, but real heavy duty. And yeah, being a later model, this came with the premium aluminum drive shaft. Wouldn't have expected to see that. Unfortunately, you see, at some point in this van's life, somebody lifted it on the pinch welds and that completely pushed it up here. You know, you got to get up on the frame rails on these vans, and of course this side, the gas tank's covering the frame rail. Look how beautiful that is. Wow. So I just went right back here, which is fine as long as you have it balanced evenly. But yeah, even up on the front, somebody had to lift on the pinch welds. You know, that almost happened to the Econoline when we were out there in Phoenix. A guy went to lift it on there, and that was really the only point with the setup that he had. So some lifts, it's the only option, but I mean, it's not safe. When that happened, if that happens in the air, I mean, that could easily cause this van to slide off. So we got a little bit of leaking coming from the pinion. Looks like actually down in the nut, but fine on the backlash. I mean, it's a little loose. Factory catalytic converters on this. So, you know, somebody put a flex pipe and new muffler on the back, but we're looking all factory on exhaust up here, which is pretty impressive. And wow, yeah, look at those lower control arms. I mean, they don't build vehicles like this anymore. They're real chintzy. When I was working over at the shop, the stuff I see them using, even on newer pickup trucks. Time to fire this thing up. Well, first step while I'm down here, took the fuel filter off, ran the hose into a jug so we could see what comes out of the tank if the pump kicks on. This nipple, plastic nipple, did break off of here. It was very brittle, but that's okay. I can always get that to go back on. Drained out what was in the fuel lines and the hoses. It smelled really bad. I just popped the battery on. It's kind of weak, so I put the charger on too. And I'm looking over at the starter solenoid. They got this wire coming off, going into the cabin, and then coming back out, going to the starter relay. I did find a button in there, but I pressed it, didn't do anything. So let's go ahead and just jump that. Before I go dumping any oil in this engine, since it wasn't on a dipstick, let's see if it even budges. I'm sure it will, but let's see here. Okay. Yep. Beautiful. All right. Before we go cranking it over more, then let's put some oil in there. I'm sure some of you guys are like, "Oh man, you didn't pull the plugs out and lube the cylinders." You know, I just got rid of all my old oil, but I gotta start saving used motor oil because that's really what I would put in this right now. But I'll go with some bottom shelf stuff. 2 quarts brought us up to level, and a 1/4 quart in the power steering. Build up a little bit of oil pressure there, and now let's try to get our fuel pump kicking. Get some spark. Be nice if we had a key. You know what I always wanted to try on an ignition is this, I believe it's a dent puller. I don't use it for that, it's just for this little puller. Yeah, I always see in the movies, they just jam these in and pull the locks out. Yeah, let's try it. Oh! That might have just actually turned the ignition on. It was twisting it. But I think these are set up where if you do that, something breaks instead of actually turning it on. Otherwise, people would just go in here and with pliers and muscle it, you know. Hopefully this thread's on here. Ooh, that thread looks like it might be different. Well, maybe it was for this puller. Yeah, those threads look better. Yes, not a huge weight here, but come on, baby. There it goes. Oh yeah, it didn't work great. I was a little rough on it. You know, again, probably should just looked up a video. I'm sure there was like a way to do this better. And as far as buttons, this is the one that I seen in here. Actually, there's one over here too. Yeah, that's good. We just gotta jump 12 volts and get some power going. I gave up on the interior because the more time I spent in there, it just smells horrible. I think there's definitely some mice that have been in there, and I was just not happy about that hanging out in there. So I took this cover off over here with the 3 relays, and I assume that's for sending ignition and fuel pump and all that. And I just made a custom little jumper harness. So let's see what happens if we apply power to all those. I think I might hear the fuel pump kicking on. Oh. Who's that? That's Gus, man? Who got you in here? The garage dog. Oh, I like those shoes. Where'd you get them?
Aerostar.
Those are nice.
They're already falling apart.
I'm almost regretting bringing this piece of junk home. Cut the cats and off to the scrapyard.
They're funky?
No, I think they're amazing. Yeah, I love them. 12 bucks well spent. I don't know, because you look pretty. And so do you. You look pretty too, buddy. Yeah. Oh. Well, since I heard that pump go on and it sounded like the tank was empty, I'm gonna try putting a little bit of gas in there. Oh, there it is. Actually, yeah, it was just running dry. Kicked right on. I was all ready to have to hit the tank. Jumping those solenoids didn't do nothing for getting spark or injector pulse. Let's see how easy it is if we just jump power to these guys. Oh shoot. Look at that digital cluster. 189,000 miles on it. That is super rad looking. See, I got this doghouse cover off too to be able to get to the ignition coil and check for spark. Very limited access in here, and I really, like I said, don't want to be in here. But oh, all right, we got spark. Heck yeah, let's hook the fuel filter back up. And with the fuel hose hooked back up, let's listen to what it does now with the pump. It building up pressure. We're ready to crank it and start it. Here goes nothing. Yes! Come on. That's what I'm talking about. Listen how quiet that little 3.0 is. Doesn't want to idle, but that display is so 80s. Like for 97, that's unbelievable. They still look at the talk works on it too. Boy, she sounds good. And there it goes, got her idling. No major leaks under here, but I do smell burning rubber really. Oh, I see why. Idler pulley's not spinning. Give that a little tap. Come on. You gotta spin like the rest of your friends. Come on. Got you wiggling. I know you wanna spin it. There it goes. Come on. There we go. Just need a little assistance. I mean, $10 part, but you know. I gotta stop real quick and say thank you, Blaster, for hooking them up with all the lubes and chemicals. Multimax is usually my favorite, but lately I've been using a lot of this pro-grade multi-purpose lubricant, and it's got more of a penetrating ability. It's much lighter in viscosity. It also smells really good, as I've said in previous videos. Light vanilla scent on there. You know, for you guys that say you don't like the smell of PB Blast, well, head on over to the store and grab a can of this, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Over 1,000 uses. Not only does it reduce friction and wear, it's also a moisture displacer. So I think I got this at Harbor Freight too, but you might not see it at every auto parts store. Take a look, try it out, let me know what you think. Listen to how well that 3.0 is running. Not missing the beat. I suppose I'll shut her down, let this clear out. So, I don't really know where we go from here, guys. I got 3 of the tires holding air, kinda. One of the plugs is leaking, but the rest I just kind of pushed on the beads and got the rust to work its way out. This one, the bead's really rusted on the rim. But I've had this minivan posted on the marketplace for 600 bucks. It said good engine, runs, and all that. And I have zero interest, because I can get a title for it, but there's no sense in doing that if I can't find any kind of buyer. I'd love to save it. Is it worth being saved? No, probably not. Let's see how this bead looks. Come on. Yeah, it's just real rusty in there. I'll clean that off. It'll seal enough to move it. I mean, if I would have just drove it on this tire, the tire will flex, and it actually usually will cause that to seal all right. It's been sitting for a little bit. Let's see how it starts up. Oh yeah, listen to that fuel pump. Nice and strong now. I did get the IAC working when it was idling before, the idle air control motor. I tapped with a hammer and then the idle went up and back down. So that's working good now. It should fire up without my assistance. You know, give her a break. Maybe that IAC's acting up still. Yeah. It should be idling higher than that when it first starts. thought long and hard about this one. And does she run? Yeah, absolutely. This thing runs great. Could easily hit the road, but it's gonna live on the trailer. And if nobody wants to buy this in the next couple days, I can cut the catalytic converters off of it and then scrap it. That's it. It'd be a sad ending to this wonderful Aerostar. I think she really wants to live on, but if Jen doesn't want it, nobody else wants it, then she's just bound for the scrapyard. I mean, if we're being straight, it was just never as good looking as the Chevy Astro van. And in case you're wondering how I was breathing in there, you just don't breathe. I learned that technique a long time ago at the shop when you pull some vehicles in that are just terribly disgusting inside. You hold your breath. That's all you can do. All right, you guys, a few days later, you can see all the tires went flat again, except for that one that I cleaned up the bead on. But had this on marketplace for $600. No bites, no takers, no interest. Unfortunately, I can't bring this to the scrapyard and pull it across the scale without a title. They don't allow that without proof of ownership because of people stealing cars and junking them. But even if I did that, probably only around 3,500 pounds, so it would have been maybe 300 bucks. I could cut those cats off, but those are low grades. They're maybe worth $100 a piece, somewhere there about in this area. So called my buddy Donald, who deals with parting vehicles out, and he's gonna give me $200 plus a transmission for Jen's Honda Civic, which just so that's a pretty good deal, since those transmissions are usually like $700 if you call a parts junkyard or whatever the case. Donald said he's gonna pull the engine, trans, rear, catalytic converter, and then just scrap the rest. And of course he can pull this across the scale because he deals with a million of these cars and knows the guys over there. If I do, yeah, they clench down on that, you know. Kind of a sad ending for the Aerostar, but I did get it for free, so not a bad deal all in the end. You know, it was like kind of waste of time even putting it on the lift and getting it running and such, but nice to see that he's gonna pull the engine and hopefully sell that for some decent money and get that back to use. You know, recycle, reuse, everybody. That is good for the earth. Well, unless you're keeping big block trucks on the road, that might not be good. This is Donald's yard here. He deals with mostly modern vehicles. Does very well with it, actually. You guys see he's got the welded on fork extensions on there. And there she goes off to the wrecking yard. We tried, Aerostar, we tried. I'm sure somebody will see this video like 30 years from now and just say, oh, how could you? Those are worth big money nowadays. It'd be funny if it dropped off right now. Oh, I mean, not funny, but I guess it'd be. I don't know, there's a lot more weight in the front on there. It'd be terrible if she slipped into one of these more modern vehicles. Winter's coming, you know, stay warm out here. Oh, sure. The Aerostar, it's a good van. This thing is going.
Aerostar. It's easy to get in, easy to drive, easy to stretch out in, easy to handle, easy to park. Aerostar. It just makes life a little easier. Aerostar. Ford Aerostar.
He's got quite the operation over here. It might look like a mess, but I mean, he puts all this stuff back to use and sells it all, and a lot goes overseas too. And the transmission is right here. Looks good. Hopefully it works, right? It's nothing like putting a new trans in a car and it not working properly. There's the freight train motoring by up there. This island. Perfect. Well, that was quite the flopperoni, no? I mean, what a disappointment. If we had the title and it didn't smell like a moldy mouse nest inside, probably would have went further, but the fact that I had it up as a runner driver for 600 and nobody was interested, I guess it's just not much of market on those. I really tried talking Jen into it, saying we could clean this thing up. Imagine all the possibilities are endless. You could cut the roof, turn it into a pickup truck, whatever. Certainly a nice utility machine, but now it's scrap and one less Aerostar that you might see on the road. So they're getting more rare by the day. If you got a desire, better go scoop one while you still can. Yeah, that's it. I guess I appreciate you guys tuning in, even though it was the flopperoni of a video. You know, I didn't really go anywhere with it. But I'm glad it's gone, honestly. So now I can get moving on other random projects and things. You know, we still made out great on this deal because got the transmission, got some money, had some fun. That's what it's all about. I do want to do a video on another 80s Dodge Caravan. You guys may have seen it on the NNKH miscellaneous channel, but they want $800 for that. So I put a feeler ad up for $800 or thereabout price on Marketplace to see if anybody was interested. Again, not a single person. I don't know if I'm like blacklisted on Marketplace. Or I was thinking Facebook might be shadow banning my ads, because if you guys ever use the boosted function on there on Marketplace, like you pay $3-4 a day or whatever, and then you get more views on it, and it does work. Like I was in a rush to sell something, I tried that and it worked great. I'm feeling like Facebook algorithm knows, they're like, no, he'll boost it if we stop giving him views, he'll boost. He's good for it. Anyway, I'm definitely rambling now. So appreciate you guys so much. If I didn't already say that, I mean it. And if you watched this far, I thank you very, very much for that, since it helps out huge. So I'll see you in another random adventure sometime soon. No nonsense, know how. Hey Gus, you keeping Turbo company? Turbo's not feeling too good. He was sick yesterday and now he's just kind of relaxing all day with his best buddy Gus. Gus, he doesn't want to play. He obviously doesn't want to play, boy. Yeah, Turbo, you tell him. Get away. You're going to get your eyes clawed out, Gus. Gus, you're gonna get messed up. The beast is sleeping. Come on, you want a treat? Gus. Gus, come on, you want a cookie? You still alive, Turbo? Yep. Just sprawled out, relaxing.